Namaste and welcome to the Krishna Quality Book Club, August 2024, in which we examine Part 2 of the Nectar of Devotion. Before we begin, as mentioned in Part 1 in July, we will hear some more about Rupa Goswami, the author of the Bhakti-rasamrta-sindhu, which was the foundation for this book, Nectar of Devotion, by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As mentioned in Part 1, the Bhakti-rasamrta-sindhu was written in Sanskrit by Rupa Goswami and contains hundreds of quotes from important Vedic texts such as the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. As well as being scientifically systematic, it is astonishingly intimate in its detailed descriptions of the loving relationships between Lord Sri Krishna and his devotees. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first met Rupa Goswami at a bathing spot on the banks of the Ganges at Prayag, which is now called Allahabad. At that holy city, the Lord instructed Rupa Goswami for 10 continuous days. In fact, though, there were 6 Goswamis of whom Rupa was considered the leader. And these Goswamis were all highly learned scholars, absolutely devoted to Lord Chaitanya. Generally, devotees in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya disciplic line after Lord Chaitanya are referred to as Rupanugas, followers in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami. We will now dive into the great Southern Ocean, which is described in chapters 20 to 34 of the Nectar of Devotion. There are 5 waves in this Southern Ocean. We will keep this book club meeting simple by reading just 10 extracts from the 14 chapters of the Southern Ocean. We begin with chapter 21 and 22, wherein the 64 qualities of Krishna are discussed. Here are just 4 of those 64 qualities. Quality 5, strong. A person who has extraordinary bodily strength is called Baliyan. When Krishna killed Aristasura, some of the gopis said, "My dear friends, just see how Krishna has killed Aristasura." Although he was stronger than a mountain, Krishna plucked him up just like a piece of cotton and threw him away without any difficulty. There is another passage wherein it is said, "O my dear devotees of Lord Krishna, may the left hand of Lord Krishna, which has lifted Govardhan Hill like a ball, save you from all dangers. Quality 14. Artistic. One who can talk and dress himself very artistically is called Viragda. This exemplary characteristic was visible in the personality of Sri Krishna. It is spoken of by Radharani as follows: "My dear friend, just see how Krishna has nicely composed songs and how he dances and speaks funny words and plays on his flute, wearing such nice garlands. He has dressed himself in such an enchanting way, as though he has defeated all kinds of players at the chessboard. He lives wonderfully at the topmost height of artistic craftsmanship." Quality 60. The attractor of liberated souls. There are many examples of how Krishna attracted even great liberated souls like Sukadev Goswami and the Kumaras. In this connection, the following statement was given by the Kumaras: "How wonderful it is that although we are completely liberated, free from desire, and situated at the stage of Paramahamsa, we are still aspiring to taste the pastimes of Radha and Krishna." Quality 63. Krishna is surrounded by loving devotees. When we speak of Krishna, Krishna is not alone. Krishna means his name, his qualities, his fame, his friends, his paraphernalia, his entourage. All of these are included. When we speak of a king, it is to be understood that he is surrounded by ministers, secretaries, military commanders, and many other people. Similarly, Krishna is not impersonal. In his Vrindavan Leela especially, he is surrounded by the gopis, the cowherd boys, his father, his mother, and all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Now we go to chapter 27 to 28. Symptoms of ecstatic love are described here, and here are just two of those symptoms. Yawning. It is said that when the full moon rises, the lotus petals become expanded. Similarly, when Krishna used to appear before Radharani, her face, which is compared with the lotus flower, would expand by her yawning. Trembling. When Krishna was trying to capture the demon Shankar, Radharani began trembling out of fearfulness. Similar trembling of the body was exhibited in Sahadev, the younger brother of Nakula. When Shishupala was vehemently blaspheming the Lord, Sahadev began to tremble out of anger. Trembling of the body was also exhibited by Radharani out of tribulation. Radharani trembled as she told one of the gopis, "Don't joke with this disappointing boy. Please ask him not to approach me, because he is always the cause of all grief for us." Now we go to chapters 29 to 30. In here, expressions of love for Krishna are listed, and here are just three of those expressions. Guilt. When a person blames himself for committing an inappropriate action, his feeling is called guilt. One day, Srimati Radharani was churning curd for Krishna. At that time, the jewelled bangles on her hands were circling around, and she was also chanting the holy name of Krishna. All of a sudden, she thought, "I am chanting the holy name of Krishna, and my superiors, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law may hear me. By this thought, Radharani became over-anxious. This is an instance of feeling guilty because of devotion to Krishna. Madness. Srila Bilvamangala Thakur prays in his book as follows: Let Srimati Radharani purify the whole world, because she has surrendered herself completely unto Krishna. Out of her ecstatic love for him, she sometimes acted just like an addled person and attempted to churn curd, although there was no curd in the pot. And seeing this, Krishna became so enchanted by Radharani that he began to milk a bull instead of a cow. Concealment. There is a symptom of ecstatic love known as concealment, or trying to hide one's real mental condition by externally showing another attitude. In this state of mind, one tries to hide his mind by looking away in different directions, by unnecessarily trying for something which is impossible, or by using words which cover one's real thoughts. According to acharyas expert in the study of psychological activities, these attempts at hiding one's real affections are another part of ecstatic feeling for Krishna. Once, when Krishna and his cowherd friends were enjoying friendly conversation, Krishna began to address his associates in casual language. At that time, Krishna's servant, Patri, was also enjoying the conversation, but then, remembering his position of servitude, Patri bowed down before his master, and with great respect and control, he stifled his smiling. This subdued smiling is an instance of concealment caused by a respectful attitude. And now we will conclude this book club reading with chapter 34, titled The Nectar of Devotion. Here is now an extract from this chapter. Transcendental pleasure derived from devotional service can be divided into two groups: direct devotional service and indirect devotional service. Direct devotional services are as follows: neutrality, servitude, fraternity, paternity, and conjugal love. Indirect devotional service is divided into laughter, compassion, anger, chivalry, dread, astonishment, and ghastliness. Any apparently pitiable condition in devotional service may appear to be distressing to the inexperienced student, but the feelings of the devotee in this pitiable condition are considered to be ecstatic by expert devotees. For example, the subject matter of the Ramayana is sometimes considered to be pitiable and distressing to the heart, but actually that is not the fact. The Ramayana narrates how Lord Rama was sent to the forest by his father just when he was going to be enthroned. After Lord Rama's departure, Maharaj Dasarath, his father, died. In the forest, Rama's wife, Sita Devi, was kidnapped by Ravana, and there was a great war. When Sita Devi was finally delivered from the clutches of Ravana, and Ravana's whole family and kingdom and Ravana himself were vanquished. When Sita Devi came home, she was tried by fire, and after some days, she was again banished to the forest. All these subjects in the Ramayana seem very pitiable, and they may appear to be very distressing to the reciter. But actually, this is not so. Otherwise, why would Hanuman, the great devotee of Lord Ramchandra, read daily about the activities of Lord Ram as described in the Ramayana itself? The fact is that in any of the above-mentioned transcendental humours of devotional service, everything is transcendentally pleasing. Sri Rupa Goswami advises, therefore, that devotees who have already tasted the nectar of devotion should be very careful to protect devotional service from such dry speculators, formal ritualistic elevationists, and impersonal salvationists. Devotees should protect their valuable jewel of spiritual love from the clutches of thieves and burglars. In other words, a pure devotee should not describe devotional service and its different analytical aspects to dry speculators and false renouncers. Those who are not devotees can never achieve the benefits of devotional service. For them, the subject of devotional service is always very difficult to understand. Only persons who have dedicated their lives unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can relish the real nectar of devotion. Thus ends the Bhakti-vedanta summary study of the second division of Bhakti-rasamrta-sindhu in the matter of general devotional service. Namaste.